Hi Stampers! It is Monday morning and welcome to Maker Mornings with Meg. That's me from Loven Stamps channel, and it is the 200th episode of Maker Mornings with Meg, which kind of blows my mind. I think when I started doing these videos for I think like 6 months, I did them daily. We started last fall and then switched to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is our current schedule, which you know if you're watching live this morning. Hey, Carol and Sue and Tanya and Kathy. It's been really fun to kind of build this community together, crafters, and saying hi to each other each morning and kind of kicking off our day or watching later, which is perfectly fine, and kind of catching up with each other that way. So anyway, I'm really glad you guys are here. And I have a really fun project to share with you that hits so many buttons. So first of all, we're going to talk about color selection and making really easy choices for our colors. Hey, Robin. We are going to talk about the clearance rack because today's project is even easier with one of the things that's listed there right now. And we are going to talk about die cutting, and if you're ever frustrated with those little like pokey problems with dies, I'm going to give you some great tips on making that just process so much easier. So thanks, Kim. Thanks, Sally. Or good to see you, Sally. And let's see, anything else we're going to touch on this morning? Making your own background paper, essentially, and making custom colored background paper to go with it. I'm going to give you a tip for Stampin' Blends that's unlike what I have done in the past. So if you've watched a bunch of my videos, you'll be like, wait, that's not what she usually says. So, all right, you guys ready to get stamping on this Monday morning? I don't know how it is where you are, but we got storms rolling in for the day. They haven't quite started yet, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Cheryl. Morning, guys. I love you guys say good morning or say hi to each other. There is something great about a community of stampers and community of crafters who just really enjoy sharing a creativity together. So lots of fun. All right. And we are way up here on my camera, so that's okay. We'll make that work this morning. And all right. So today's project, as I said, we're using the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set. Maybe I didn't say that. This one here, get some stuff out of the way. Gorgeous Leaves, which has an amazing set of dies to go with it, of which I will show you kind of, here's the leftovers in the package that I haven't used, plus a whole bunch of different ones here that we did use, plus one that I have set aside to show you in a minute. So this is a great bundle for fall. It's one of those kind of, all-purpose things. You can always add a little leaf accent to something for great results. And the stamp set is a great one with sort of these grungy backgrounds, and I'm going to show you how I like to use those to make really great collage stamping. So to start off, I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is going to be 3x4 and 3x4, so it's 4 inches by 6 inches right now. And we're going to do some collage stamping on here, and then we're going to cut it in half, and it's going to turn into 2 cards because this is like a super snappy way to get a number of great cards really fast. Oh my gosh. Okay, and this is from the marching band competition this weekend, which I have not gotten my rubbing alcohol out to take off yet. So if you guys have any favorite tips for taking Sharpie off your hands, go ahead and do that. It was a great competition though. All right, I am going to pull my 3 colors. So where did the colors come from this project? The colors came from Stampin' Up's brilliant artists, because when they come out with in colors each summer, they color match them within a family. And so these in colors happen to be, I'll just kind of pull these out so you can see, the last year in colors. So Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, and Magenta Madness. And so I decided to pull the fall ones. So I am working with Misty Moonlight, Bumblebee, and Cinnamon Cider. And these, if they look familiar, these are the cards, Flowers for Every Season, Memories and More, cards and envelopes pack, which are on the clearance rack, at least in the North American market. And so you get 10 cards and 10 envelopes for like just a little over $4. So as always with the clearance rack, I make no promises. They were there when I checked, when I started this video this morning. So I'm going to repeat those colors for our background stamping. And when you do background stamping, you usually want to start with the largest image first. So I'm going to start with this leaf here, and I'm going to turn. I'm going to make sure some of my images go off the edge of my paper, and I'm going to kind of think in triangles. So I have 1, 2, the third one is going to go up here. So we have that triangle. Then maybe I have these 2. So if I put one here, it's not going to make a triangle. It's going to make a straight line. So I'm not going to put one here, okay? But here and here, I have an opening that I can put one. I'm going to turn it this way so it's not the same angle as either of the other 2. And I'm going to put that there. Okay, did that make sense why I wouldn't put one here? So then once I've used my biggest image, I'm going to go back with my next largest image. And I have Misty Moonlight and the next leaf stamp. And I'm gonna ink this up each time and go ahead and start popping these on here. And same thing, I'm going to kind of think in triangles. So I have 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, I could put 3 down here, okay? And then I have 1, 2, and I could put 3 here. I'm gonna overlap it just a little. And then 1, 2, 3 has to go here. Could go over here, but I think it's gonna go here. And I want to have a different angle. There we go, okay? All right, you guys see? So now I can't put one here because 1, 2, 3 would put it in a straight line. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Sometimes people have a hard time with collage stamping, and that is a tip that I find really useful. Okay, then lastly, I'm gonna go back with my smallest leaf, and I'm gonna think about filling in some spaces and think about my triangles. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, turn it this way, 3, okay, and then 1, 2, so I can put one here. And then here, if I'm making my triangle, I'm gonna stick one right there. And then I can get one on this. If I do it on this side, I'm gonna have this sort of straight line thing. So I'm gonna go here with my triangle and I'm gonna pop it there. And then I feel like right here, I can get away with one more there because that's gonna be our triangle there, okay? So think in triangles when you're doing your collage stamping. Now, you'll notice that I left some white space and it's uneven and I'm happy about that. So I'm gonna come back with this Speckle Stamp Set, and there are actually 2 in this set, which gives you lots of flexibility. I'm gonna use the larger one, but I want it to be just a really light background. So I'm actually gonna stamp off twice, I think, because I want it to be this light. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, 1, 2, 3. And I'm not going to fill in all the white space. I want it to be kind of uneven. So I'm gonna leave this white here. Okay, 1, 2, and then I'll put a little more up here. Okay, because I don't want it to be an even background. I want it to be pretty loose. And then when you have a collage like this, it's really nice if you can vary your pattern from large to small images. So these little tiny leaves here are the perfect way to finish this off. And so I'm gonna bring these in and I'm gonna stamp them. And this time I'm gonna kind of look for open space and kind of look for an absence of blue. And I'm not gonna worry too much about overlapping the other images. I'm just gonna stamp right over them where I feel like they should go, okay? And let's see, but I am gonna kind of do like a little 3 pattern. I'm gonna turn this so that that same leaf isn't at the top all the time. And I'm gonna pop one kind of in there. All right, then I feel like I want one more out here, which is gonna kind of complete that little triangle. All right, and then remember, we're gonna cut this in half, so we're gonna end up with a little bit different effect. All right, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and cut it in half. And then I'm gonna show you how this goes together. So I've got my trimmer. Like I said, this piece was 3 by 6, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. So now I have 2 pieces that are 3 by 4. And of course you could make these as, you know, you could start with a paper that's as big as you want. Sometimes it's a little easier to picture the edges of things when it's not so giant, because I wanted to make sure. Now, if you're worried about these places where, can you see my little stamping smudge? I caught an edge, it's terrible. But now this piece is clearly going to be where my focal point is gonna cover up. So that one's oriented, and we'll still have some choices here. And let's see, so I'm gonna bring in one of my card bases, and let's see, this way for you guys. Just gonna fold this in half, and they have printed on them this delightful dotted rectangle. And so that part is done for you, and it makes it really easy to just mix and match. Now, you could, of course, put this card on like this, and it's very pretty. But can you guess what I think we should do to this? Big shocker. I think we should add a layer. So I picked Bumblebee, and I cut this layer to 3 1/8 inch by 4 1/8 inch. And if the thought of measuring in eighths horrifies you, then just sort of size it to 3 by 4 and then cut a little bigger, okay? Then 3 by 4. It'll work out. All right, so this is gonna come together here like this. Now, I like the way this white dot corresponds to this white background, but I feel like it's a little stronger white than I wanted, because I want our tag to stand out a little more, our greeting. So I'm gonna come back to our drawing board here, and this is where I'm gonna show you a new way, or a different way than I usually recommend to use your Stampin' Blends. Dawn says she wasn't gonna get this stamp set, but now she might have to. We're not even done with this card yet, Dawn. So I guess I apologize in advance. If it makes you feel any better, the same thing happens to me. I go to Stampin' Up meetings and conventions and so forth, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't gonna get that, and now I have to. So, all right, I have one of my blending brushes. I'm just gonna do a little swirl to pick up some ink. Now, I usually start off the edge and bring my blending brush on, but I do not want to have the dark image around the edge. I don't really want that flare. I want this to look like it's just cut out of a big piece of paper without that edge flare. So pick up your ink, and then I'm gonna start on my project. I'm gonna pick a darkish spot, because remember, the first time you set your blending brush down, you're gonna end up with a little darker ink in that spot. So I'm not gonna set it here in this white spot, or I'm gonna get a smudge that's hard to blend out, okay? See how that works? Now, you can see sort of left and right, look at how much softer this background is now that we have sort of a custom inked background that matches our colors on our things instead of competing with them, okay? So here, I'll show you both. So here is the white one, which is pretty, it's nice. But here is the softened one, which I think is so much cleaner with a look. It's not competing, it's working together with its images. So, all right, and plus, you know, those smudges that I said I was gonna cover up anyway, they kind of blend into the background when you're kind of adding this, this color here, so that you're not quite so stark white. All right. Okay, so now we have two, and we're going to, we'll just set this on the side for now and we'll come back to it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick these down, and I've got my multi-purpose liquid glue. Remember, a little glue goes a long way. If you can see it, it's enough. I'm gonna pop this here on our Bumblebee paper, and I'm gonna pop this down so that we kind of have a base to work on. Okay, all right. Oops, 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 there we go. And it's a perfect fit inside that dotted border. And the dotted border really stands out nicely now because it's a little bit like even more intense now that we've darkened the inside, okay? Tanya says she loved the softened one and she doesn't usually care for leaf things. You know what, I totally get it, but I am loving these. And these colors are great together. I totally agree with you. But remember, use your Stampin' Up resources. It's one of the great things about Stampin' Up is the pieces really lend themselves to just great choices, okay? And plus in this set, we're gonna mix and match another one. So, got this layered. Now what are we gonna put on here? One of my favorite all-purpose greeting sets is Sunny Sentiments. I thought you could use Sunny Thoughts. There's a great thank you greeting, some birthday words, happy hello, and then sort of this one. I know we've been out of touch, but I think about you more often than you know, which is a great way to send a card to somebody that you haven't talked to for a little while. So this one here is what we're gonna use today, happy hello to you. So I'm gonna grab some basic white again, and now we are going to stamp our greeting as well as some extra elements. Let's get this glue out of the way. So here's my happy hello. Let's see, I'll pop it on there, and we're gonna die cut that. And then we're going to also die cut our leaves because The leaves for this set are very robust, and they're not only the little skeleton leaves here, which gives you great accent points, but also the die cut leaves for the leaf stamps. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp these too. So I have this one here, which of course matches our card. I have the small one here in cinnamon cider. And I would recommend doing yourself a favor. Sometimes we wanna squish our dies so close together, our stamps so close together so that we're not like wasting paper, but really, I don't know. I think it doesn't take that much more paper to just be generous enough to give them space so that when you try to die cut them, your dies are not overlapping each other and they're bumping each other and kind of making a mess. And remember, my favorite tip for this is to just put a little piece of washi tape over and die cut that way. Now, for Happy Hello, the workhorse die set that I'm gonna pick is the Tasteful Labels. And I know often I do scalloped rectangles. Scallops are a little bit like girly sometimes. This one is a great set for, you know, masculine cards or anyone cards with lots of nice sized greetings. So I'm gonna I tried this one first with this really pretty dotted stitched line, and it's okay. But I decided it was just a little too tight, and so we're gonna use this one with these fabulous corners, and it's gonna fit on here like this. Okay, I guess I didn't get quite far enough. Take my own advice next time. So I'm gonna die cut all these pieces, and through the magic of television, I have them cut here. So here are our leaf elements, and here is our greeting elements, okay? So we're gonna pop this down here. You know that I like to make my bottom left corner a focal point a lot of the time. But I wanna kind of add some interesting stuff to the background here so that we're not just a leaf and not just a leaf and a greeting. So you can pop this behind here, which is nice because it has this white border, which has a great standout, and it stands out even better because we softened that background. So you can imagine if this was still that stark white background, then this wouldn't, neither the greeting nor the leaf would stand out nearly as well. So this is really making kind of a nice contrast for our card. All right, and then I have some dies. So I'll show you here. I actually cut all these pieces ahead because I wanted to have a whole bunch of choices ready for mixing and matching these cards. And this die set is one of my favorite type where they include multiple dies of the same image. So you know that you can just slap all those dies on your cardstock, run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and have a whole bunch of pieces all ready to mix and match and put together, right? I know. Oh, I'm getting glue everywhere. Okay, I should probably put the lid back on this since it's gonna be a little while. All right, and get that extra glue there. All right, so our die cutting. So this is what I wanted to show you. So when you have a die that's really intricate like this, and I will freely admit that when I first started, when Stampin' Up! First started carrying dies like this, like 10 or 15 years ago, it was a long time, like 2007, I think, was when that started coming out, because I was on the advisory board. Anyway, it was a long time ago, and dies like this with so much detail were pretty painful to die cut. So the great thing is that they have come a long way since then, and die cutting them is really no problem. So here's my first tip for you. When you put this through your machine, make sure that your dies are completely cut before you pop them out. And so the way I do that is I just flip it over and look at the back. And if all those little metal edges show through, then I am good to go. If they didn't, usually that cardstock stays in there, and I would take this and I would just turn it 90 degrees and put it through again, or move it to a different spot on my plate, okay? So once you got that set, then let's talk about getting those little pieces out. You can poke them all one at a time, but that's like my least favorite plan. Let me bring this in here so that I don't get all the fragments everywhere. So my more favorite plan is to take my Take Your Pick tool, which has this brush tip that you can get. So you're gonna unscrew the putty end if you want to have one. So I actually have a take your pick tool that lives with the die brush on the end, and then my other one that lives with a putty tip on the end. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm just going to hold it in my hand. I know it's tempting to want to put it down, but it works best, I think, to hold it in my hand. And I just kind of cup the edges. Can you see how I do that? So that the first little round of getting those pieces out is set. And then usually what happens on a die this intricate is it starts to separate and I can easily pop it out of there, okay? Now, there's all kinds of tricks, and I have these, you know, on my blog and stuff for using wax paper and blah, blah, blah. I really feel like that, for me at least, is a thing of the past. I don't have to use that anymore because the dies have come so far. So now I have this piece here, which has some little hanging chads in it. And at this point, what I like to do is just set it on the foam mat. This mat comes with the brush tool, and I just run back and forth, sort of do-do-do-do. Now, for a leaf, it curls up, and that's perfect because I want that sort of organic curl anyway. But you can always like flatten it out again if you need to. And you can see like how easily all those little pieces have pretty much come out. Now, if I'm gonna leave one in there for illustration purposes, it would come out if I kept rolling it. But you have at the other end of your take your pick tool, that one pointy end. And so that is really easy to just finish that off, okay? So that's my quick die cutting tip, and this is all inky on the back. So we'll get that out of the way. But this is the one, is this the one I want to use? No, it's not even the one I want to use. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in our pile. We'll use that for another card. And I think I'm going to grab, let's see, this guy here and pop this under here because I don't want to have so much yellow. I want to bring in those other colors, and cider is a little bit unrepresented so far. And then I'm going to bring in some of these blues. Let's see, how about if I pop this one up under here, and then this one, I always like to have something sort of at that bottom offset corner. Okay, what do you guys think? I kind of like that. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Now, here's my next tip for you, top secret. Okay, it's totally not secret, but I'm gonna hold these here with my hand. I'm gonna pull this away, and I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Dimensionals and just pop all these dimensionals on here so that I do not have to work hard to attach these elements at all. And remember, that's all gonna get covered here, so I'm not like worrying about glue. I'm not worrying about like putting things back where I liked them. This is just the easy way to make it happen, okay? All right, and then I'm gonna put my greeting back on there. Let's see, a little higher. There we go. And I'm gonna bring my glue in for just this last one. So think about where the elements are gonna contact each other and put your glue there. Remember, if you can see it, it's enough. That is a little more than just you can see it. So I'm gonna wipe away a little extra before I stick it down. And then I'm gonna pop that there on the corner, okay? Now, I like this card, but I think that it is, oh, Dawn says my open ink pads are making her nervous. Yeah, Tanya is usually the one who says about the ink pads, but Dawn got you in there too. So it'll be okay, it'll be okay. Actually, I think all right, I'll close them because I'm actually no, I'm not done with them. I'm gonna leave them open, but it'll be all right. Okay, so one last thing for this, we wanna add some bling to it. And one of the great things about the In Colors, that set of 5, is that they often come with accessory kinds of items, like these square gems. So you can get the pieces that you want to mix and match with the square gems to match your stamping here. So I'm gonna just grab some of these and pop, let's see, maybe a little up here. And I wanna think in triangles again. We're using that same kind of triangle tip, and I want to kind of surround our focal point, okay? So in other words, I wouldn't want to put like one here because that's making a straight line instead of our triangle, okay? All right, so we've got our gems on there, and then we're gonna bring in our envelope and do a little quick stamping on the corner. Let's see, I've got my big leaf here, and I'm gonna turn it like this. And the envelopes, of course, are included with this. And then I'm gonna take my leaf there, and then we have our envelope, and then they also have that pretty lining. So actually these stamps are so pretty I can hardly resist. I'm just gonna put one more on the back. All right, just like that, okay? So there is a really great image, and I love the way these particular leaves lend themselves. They have all this scratchiness around the edges, and it really lends itself to this kind of collage technique. So it's a lot like a wood block, like a lino, or like carving linoleum. I don't know if you guys ever did that in art class in junior high or high school. It was one of my favorite things, but you get those little extra fragments around, and it's really cool art style. So, all right, you wanna make one more? It'll take less than a minute, I bet. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this one over here. I'm gonna bring in the bumblebee card base and a piece of cardstock that is cinnamon cider. So same thing, remember we cut this one to 3 by 4, and we made our background here 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, which fits perfectly in our cards there. Now this is the one I have to put the bottom corner here because we have to cover up our oops. Okay, my watch is looking for directions to someplace in Spain for some reason. I don't know what I said. But anyway, we're gonna cover up that little blurb there. So there's our greeting. Let's go ahead and pop on, I think, a blue leaf or a cinnamon leaf. I'm going with cinnamon leaf. I want the blue to be an accent, but not quite so strong. And let's see, we have stamped leaves. I thought I had a blue stamped leaf here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I have a blue stamped leaf, so I'm gonna pop this one here kind of on top. So we'll go with that same kind of design. And then let's see, we need some yellow back in here. So I'm gonna pop this one, I think, under here. And then I don't have a, let's see, what do we think? I really kind of want a bumblebee little blip there, but maybe maybe blue, because I haven't used a blue die cut yet. Oh, no, I kind of like that one. All right, and it's gonna have to go down below the U. So maybe we'll turn it this way so that it's a little bit more oriented. Okay, so same trick. How am I doing on my minute? I stopped to talk a little bit. I might be a little over. Same trick here with our dimensionals. I know if you're freaking out, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so many dimensionals, Meg. It evens out. And if you're worried about this, you know, popping up, you can always take your glue and just maybe stick a tiny bit of extra under there. Try not to put your fingers in it. Pop this on, get our greeting straight. And then, let's see, which side did I do this? Okay, so these two edges are gonna get the glue here. Okay, and then we're gonna add some gems. Let's see, what color gems do you guys think? Yellow maybe? Maybe cinnamon again. Maybe the blue. Actually, let's go with blue. Okay, so I'm gonna pop one kind of up here. I'm gonna pop one down here, and then to finish our triangle, I don't really wanna put it out here because there's so much going on over here that like our eye is drawn this way already. So if I put it here, it's like, wait, do I look there? Do I look here? Ah! Sort of Monty Python bridge style. All right, so I'm gonna put that over there, okay? All right, and then of course we would have our bumblebee envelope to match, or you could mix and match and put a blue envelope on this one. You could pop this one with this one instead. That's kind of pretty also. Okay, so now I'm gonna just set these far away, these ink pads and inky stamps, because now I am getting nervous about it. Okay, Dawn and Tanya can rest at ease. So here is our bumblebee version of this card. Here is our Misty Moonlight version of this card, and here is another one that I did ahead of time that is the cinnamon cider version of this card. And I know there's some stampers out there who are totally in love with things in browns, so that cinnamon cider is a great resonant kind of card. So let's see, oh, I'm going the wrong direction, sorry about that. So that kind of gives you the idea. Same set of supplies, just a pack of these cards and envelopes, which are, like I said, a limited time, don't miss them because they could be gone soon. Clearance rack item, and then these gorgeous leaves, stamps and dies, which are just a workhorse fall stamp set with lots and lots of great possibilities. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the 200th episode of Maker Mornings with Meg. I have really enjoyed visiting with you guys. Like I said, I didn't expect necessarily that I would still be doing this 200 episodes later when I started back last fall, but it's kind of fun. Oh, and Sue, that's a great comment. Sue said that cinnamon cider is great for guy cards. Yeah. And actually, I think any of these would be great for guy cards. Sort of the Misty Moonlight is a little bit denim-y, which is always a good choice, or the Bumblebee is pretty gender neutral too. So, and Kathy said that they really celebrate autumn. Lots of, yes. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like this card. Jenny says she feels better about the ink pads too. Whew. Okay, we're all taking a deep breath. So, I hope you guys have a terrific week. I hope this is a good start to it and that you will have some time to get some great crafting in. This is a really fun time of year to just make some extra treats or cards to share with people. And you guys know as much as I do that just, you know, dropping a card in the mail and sharing a happy hello with someone is a really great way to brighten your day and theirs also. So have a super wonderful day and appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning. And I'll be back on Wednesday with episode number 201. Yay! Bye guys. Thanks for watching.